Hi everyone, and welcome to Excel Online Academy. In this tutorial, we will look at how to create pivot tables and dashboards. Let's get started. I will share my screen where you can see what I'm doing. One sec. I'm just waiting a couple of minutes, and then we can start. In this tutorial, we will cover the following topics: how to create a pivot table, how to arrange it, how to do the extra settings, which is about the layout, how to sort inside the pivot table, how to add customize format, how to adjust the subtotals, grand totals, and eventually we will look at how to create slicers. Let's get started. On the left side of my screen, you can see that there is a row data table. From this row data table, we will create a pivot table. Why is it good to use pivot tables? Because you don't need to use any kind of formula to do the aggregation for you very quickly. First of all, you need to select your row data table with your mouse, and then go to the Insert tab and add a pivot table. Also, from my website, if you subscribe to the above website, then you can download the summary of pivot tables. So basically almost everything that we are covering here, but it will be downloadable in a PDF format as a short summary. Okay, so once we selected our row data, that will become available here on the top. Now the next step is to decide where you want to put your pivot table. You would like to create it on a new worksheet or here in the existing worksheet place. I use this option because I want to create next to my already existing pivot table. We are trying to replicate this pivot table and see how is it going in practice. So now we have a blank pivot table. On the right side, you should have a pop-up window, which is called Pivot Table Field Lists. You need to click on your pivot table, come up. If it is still not there, then go to the pivot table tools, go to the options, and under that there is one item which is called Field Lists. If you don't see this window, you need to tick this option, Field Lists. On the right side, you can see there are several items. These items belongs to the row data table column headers. You can drag and drop. For example, I can drag and drop the type to here any of these areas. Now we will focus on the row labels and the column labels. So if I drag it and release it here under the row labels, types, which is the ABS, RMBS, CMBS. These are securitized products. For example, the ABS is the asset-backed security. I work in an investment bank, so that's why I use these as examples. So dragged the type here, but I still don't have any value here. So into the value fields, usually some kind of number should go. Be dragging the positions under the values. So with the help of this, your pivot table aggregated all the numbers, the position size, based on your type. Obviously, you have more items, so you can drag them, for example, the year, under the column label area. It will add this extra area here on the right. So now you have the breakdown between the ABS and the year. So the type and the year, right? It still doesn't look like this. Therefore, drag and drop the direction again under the row labels. Now here, the order of the items does matter, because if I drag and change the direction and move it here to the top, then that will be the main category, the direction of the trades, whether it is a sell trade or a buy trade. So long or short. But this is not the original table, so I would like to rearrange and move it back below the type. Okay. Now these two pivot tables looks the same in structure, but the outlook is different. How can you change the look of your pivot table? Because this is a very blank pivot table. It doesn't look nice. Go and click on the pivot table, go to the Design tab, and here on the right side, and even here under this drop-down arrow, you will have a lot of formats that you can choose from. As you can see in the background, my pivot table is changing. So I can choose now whatever I like. For example, this one. We haven't spoken about the filters. The report filters, if I drag my year under the report filters, it will add, well, it should add, but there is not enough space, so I need to move a little bit my pivot table down until here. And now if I drag and drop the year under the report filter, it created an extra row here on the top. With the help of this, you can and select the year or the item that you are interested in. So for example, I would like to see the results of 2006 and 2007. Hit OK, and your pivot table represents only those numbers. How can you remove this filtering? Click on the pivot table, go to the Data tab, and click on the Clear. That's one option, but obviously that will remove all your filters. So if I click it, everything's set back to normal. If you have multiple items, for example, drag and drop again back the year here, I can filter for 2006, while here I will add a new filtering. This is also important where your cursor is currently standing. So if you are standing on cell 09, so inside the direction, then the direction will be filtered. If you are standing on the type, which is the main category here, so ABS, CLO, CMBS, filter will be filtered. There is also another way to quickly change it. So I'm currently standing on the type, but I would like to select and filter the direction. So here on the top, you have the option to choose where you want to filter. Okay, let's filter on the type, and I am interested only in the CMBS and the residential mortgage-backed securities, RMBS. Click OK, and now you have two filters, one for the type and one for the year. If you would like to remove the filtering only for one of it, you can come here into the individual item and click on the clear filtering for type. But then in that case, still your year filters remains there. While I just add back this filtering as it was, While if you come here to the Data tab and you click on the Clear button, then everything will be set back to the original default filtering. The next topic in this course will be how to sort and how to arrange your pivot table. Let's start with the arranging. That's a bit easier. Click on your pivot table. Here on the top, under the pivot table tools, go and select the Design tab. On the Design tab, you have this item which is called Report Layout. What options you have? I think the default is the compact form. So if I select it, there is no change at all. While if I select the outline form, there is an extra column created for the directions. So they are separate. But the main categories are higher intended. I don't want to see it in a tabular form, which makes it more understandable and nicer. And there is one more thing that I would like to mention, which is, as you can see for the Zs.O, where you have a byte trade and a cell trade, of the byte, you can see the Zs.O next to it. When you use SUMIFs based on your pivot table, because the Zs.O is not repeated here, same as for the CMBS. How can we fill out the blank on the left? Come here to the Design tab, Report Layout, and click on the Repeat All Item Labels. Click that. Go. You have all the cells filled out here on the row column headers. The next topic is the sorting. How can you sort? If you click on one cell, for example, the direction, it a little bit because I currently don't need the totals, the subtotals. We will cover this shortly, but now I just removed it to make it nicer. So currently I'm standing on the direction, right? Sort this item, I need to be standing on it. Go here to the Data tab, and you have the A to Z or Z to A. Click the A because, as you can see for the Zs.O, currently it is starting with the letter B and then the S. So I know that it is currently using a formatting of A to Z. Standing here on the direction, and I will change it to Z to A. Then it is changed. Same for the numbers. For the numbers, then for example the CMBS, then you need to click on the A to Z, and then it will change. Starts from the smallest number and goes to the largest number. Same as here. If I want to rearrange it, just click on the Z to A. There you go. And also for the years, I think if you stand on it, change it, but right click. Just thinking how can I change that? The year ascending. Okay, so that's the way. To the sort option or right click on it. Filter tab, sorry, go to the sorting tab, sorting options. This manual and click OK, and that's it. The order of the years have changed. The next topic that we will cover is to change the subtotals, grand totals. Pivot table tools, Design tab, and here on the left side, totals. In the do not show subtotal, but for example, to the bottom of the group, then it will add it just below it. Same for the grand totals. In case of the grand totals is here on the very, very bottom, the very right side of your pivot table. I want to remove the bottom ones, therefore, I will select the for rows, sorry, only for columns, because I want to get rid of the bottom grand total. The other way around, grand totals only for row items. Why? Because it is summing up the rows. So whatever you have in one row, it will be summed up. So therefore, visible only on the right side of your pivot table. If you select the only for column, it will be at the pivot table. While you have the last option, which is on for rows and columns. The row total and total here on the right side and also at the bottom. The next item that I would like to show is fill out the blank cells with some kind of value, because it does. You have blank items, then you have item cells that are filled out the blanks with 0, as you can see here. Do it is write your pivot table, select your pivot table options. Here on the first tab, the layout and format, for the empty cells show, and then write a number. In this case, I would like to show 0. The table is filled out with zeros for the blank cells. What else should we show? One that we will cover. Again, I'm standing. No, actually, before the slicers, I would like to show you how can you change the source of your pivot table. We know how to create it. You select your raw data, your pivot table. That's the way how we started our tutoring, our course. But now I would like to raw the new data table. As you can see, the numbers are different. Click on your pivot table, go here to the options tab. In the middle, there is one item which is called change data source. Click that, and now you have there, and select your new column, new row data table. Did it? I click OK. My pivot table numbers changed, and for example, the grand total shows 315,000. Or not, let me have a look. For 2004, for 2000, no, actually this one should be, yeah, 315,000. Changed. If it hasn't changed manually, then you need to right click and click on the refresh. Okay, the last item in this pivot table tools and dashboards is the slicers. Be very useful. I show you how can you use it in, for example, here on my summary page, I have a nicely formatted pivot table, mostly pivot tables page. So this is one of my dashboards. If I click items, it will change accordingly. Numbers are changing. With Control, I can select multiple items at the same time. Greece, for example. When I release it, it will not work because there is not enough space. Show only one item at the time here. Okay. So let's look at how to create a slicer. Select your pivot table to the Options tab. at the middle, there is one item called slicers. Select it. All your columns and headers from your row will become available. Now you can select based on what item you would like to add your slice. What should I use? For example, the type. Once I selected it, just hit OK. Your slide. And now you can select which item you're interested in. If I click on the ABS, data will same for the CL. Press down the control and hold it down. Now I'm selecting multiple items. Release my control. Then you can see only ABS, CLO, and CMBS is visible, and we are excluding the RMBS. One option here on zooming in to make it a little bit bigger, which is to clear the filters. So if you click that, you show all your data. Your slicer doesn't need to be looking that ugly as it is. You just click on your slicer and you will have a pop-up option here, which is the slicer tools. And you can change the formatting, look like, and also nice feature which is called, so you can change the amount of columns that you would like to display the slicer. So we don't need that much space anymore. Here and drag it and resize your pivot table. So it should look like this. And you can add as much slicer as you want. It's just a quick way of filtering items instead of you coming here, select it manually, the item that you're interested in. Okay. So I hope this tutorial was useful, and thank you for watching my video on the pivot tables. Subscribe to my channel and comment. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel. What you would like to see in the next video. See you next week again on weekend when I will be doing again a live training. Topics I will choose. And a good weekend and see you next week.